What made you get into real estate and have anything to do with HGTV?
I love HGTV, but I'm a dinosaur, so back in 1996, HGTV didn't exist then.
So many real estate agents, and I know it's highly competitive. Obviously, you're very successful. So what would you say sets you apart?
I think what really sets me apart, and it took me to grow into that, is that I needed to be my authentic self. They were fine with me showing up in my minivan with my 2 children. A lot of people feel like they need to go buy that high-end luxury vehicle or the high-end watch. They put their trust in my hard work at first and then like my skill set.
Have you ever encountered a haunted house?
Oh yes, one of them that really did it.
Hello, my name is Megan Ager. Welcome. This is the Coastal Pearl podcast, and I am so excited to introduce our first guest. Her name is Kim Spears. She is a huge deal in the real estate market, and she is also the cover girl of the Coastal Pearl magazine, the first edition. So we are very excited to have her here. Kim, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So if you can, before we go into the questions, just give us a brief summary, if you can, of yourself, your background. And I know you're in very high-end real estate.
So, hi, my name is Kim Spears. I am a luxury real estate broker on the Treasure Coast, serving from Palm Beach to Vero, but my heart is in Stewart and Sewell's Point. I've been in the business over 30 years, which I have a new protege coming up behind me, my daughter, who's going to be the legacy with me. But how I got started was almost like an accident because I was actually a commercial real estate banker and a financial strategist. I ended up wanting to have a family, and I needed a different job that I wasn't working these crazy hours. Didn't realize I would be working crazy hours in real estate, but at least I was able to take my children with me or be around my children.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, it's a little more flexible than
Yes,
just,
much more
yeah.
flexible.
So we're going to get into it. So, well, you kind of just said what made you get into real estate. And I was going to ask, did it have anything to do with HGTV? Only because every time I watch HGTV, I'm like, I'm going to start flipping houses or become a real estate agent. And then,
I love HGTV, but I'm a dinosaur, so back in 1996, HGTV didn't exist then. But the reason what really got me into it, and I always say this, is like I always love looking at homes. I like things that are beautiful. I wanted my house to be pretty. I didn't go into it thinking I'm just going to be this mega luxury real estate agent at the time. It found me and I found it. So that it was kind of organic, to
okay,
be honest with you. So,
I
and
love
it was
that.
just like, what are my options? I was a banker. What do I want to do? It seemed like a great idea. It was going to be fun. And it was a lot harder than I thought because I did quit a very good banking job where I was going to be vice president, thinking I'm going to go make hundreds of thousands of dollars my first year in real estate. And I didn't.
It's kind of like being an entrepreneur. I mean, you have to really grind, right?
Absolutely. It's 7 days a week. It's still 7 days a week right now. I can make my own schedule, but you don't, in this type of high pressure sales, you don't just lay back and, take your foot off the pedal.
So, when you first got into real estate, was Stewart completely different than it is now?
Oh my gosh. When I first got into real estate, there was like no internet. We were basically in this like yellow book. It wasn't online. We had to flip the pages to find the houses.
Wow.
That's how that's how long ago it's been. And we also weren't developed like we are now. Palm City wasn't developed. Some of the neighborhoods that you see right now, like Hammock Creek, Highlands Reserves, that was just land. And a lot of people at the time when I was selling real estate were like, there's no way that's going to sell. No one's going to buy that. Now look at us. Look how it's becoming the next Abacoa and Jupiter out in Palm City.
Do you think that this is gonna be the new it seems like Stewart and Martin County is the next step. I'm from Fort Lauderdale.
100%.
Saw that change.
100%. I mean, I don't need to name drop, but you can see the big names coming into town. You can see the people that I'm selling houses right now are big money from out of area, from Canada, California, New York, hedge funds.
So it's good for us, I guess, if you own property, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. That's good. I like that for me. So, what would you say is the craziest thing you've ever walked into during a showing?
This was early on in my career, and I was showing a home. I've been licensed in multiple states, and this was when I was just starting in the business. The home was supposed to be vacant. I had my client, her daughter. I walk in, no one was supposed to be there, and here's a man, not
Oh, no.
dressed, sleeping and squatting in the house. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, let's call the police. I didn't even know what to do at the time. I just shut the door. And then come to find out, unfortunately, it was the real estate agent who was the listing agent of the house just camping out in the house on a mattress, living in the house. Yes. I mean, the stories that I can tell over 30 years, really, we don't talk about because we don't want to embarrass people or, things like that. But at this point in my career, I'm like, that happened a long time ago. I need to start telling the stories of like what my life has been like over 30 years.
Yeah, so you definitely have to write a book.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
There's so many real estate agents, and I know it's highly competitive. Obviously, you're very successful. So what would you say sets you apart?
Very competitive. I think what really sets me apart, and it took me to grow into that, is that I needed to be my authentic self. Like, you can't wear so many hats and be like, yes, I will do this. Yes, you have to be your authentic self. And that doesn't mean that, I'm not a billionaire. I'm not super wealthy. I cater to the wealthy. It's made me a very good living. You have to be your authentic self. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. They were fine with me showing up in my minivan with my 2 children. A lot of people feel like they need to go buy that high-end luxury vehicle or the high-end watch. They put their trust in my hard work at first and then, like, my skill set. So I kinda grew into it, and I made the decision that I was going to be different. I'm gonna be my authentic self. I love high-end. I love luxury, and it just matched. And I had a background in fashion and design, so that drew me more to the luxury aspect of real estate, but it wasn't easy getting into because I'm not from that, if that makes sense.
So is there one house you sold that you still think about almost like an ex that you just, like, can't put out of your mind?
Yeah, I have a couple of those. I've even had my own remorse of selling, but the one house that stands out to me in Stewart is Cashel, which is was early built. They used to run bootleg, moonshine through it. Presidents have stayed there. It's
Wow.
on the wide water. It is magnificent. It's just like something out of The Great Gatsby.
Have you ever wanted to fake an accent just to, make the house seem, like, fancier?
Yes, and
Okay.
I love to name my homes, like,
Ooh, I like
Italian
that.
names, like
Yeah.
yes.
Would you do, like, an Italian accent or, like, a British or what?
I don't
What are you
know.
thinking?
Lizzie, what do? We have all sorts of different
Okay.
accents. She's got the best of the accents, so she can
Yeah?
do them all,
Okay.
but yes,
Okay.
we pretend.
Like a
We
Russian
pretend
accent?
that we're living, like, the glamorous lifestyle,
Ooh, I love that, like
so,
Capri,
yeah.
You're like, "Ooh, yeah."
But I do name my homes now, and people started making fun of me about that, so
I love that. I've never heard anyone do that, and so if you name them, is it just for yourself or you literally tell the client like, "Hey, this is the Winthrop house," or whatever?
yeah, I literally name it. Like, I just sold a house and we named it Villa Blanca, and they
Ooh,
loved it so much that
they should name it
they
that.
named it that, and I did a custom plaque for the house.
That's cool. I feel like it makes it sound more unique. Like, I'm gonna go home and name my house now, I think. Yeah. Okay. What's the biggest lie people tell on their real estate
On their
listings?
list, the biggest thing we see today on listings is the AI and the enhancements, and I think that's like a letdown for buyers coming in because you see everything on social media and the internet, it looks great, and it's all filtered or AI driven. There's a lot of Photoshop going on, there's a lot of staging of furniture, so you're not getting that real house because you're seeing other things.
Wow. What is do you have a go-to hype song before a listing? You're, like, driving over and you're just amped up
I
and
used to feel like I was like Ally McBeal, and it was probably before your time, like this one TV show I used to
Oh, I
watch,
know
and,
Ally McBeal.
they would
Yeah.
stand in the mirror and sing, so, like, in the morning, like, I've got the Sonos, like, blaring, like, in the car, in the house, everyone knows that, like, "Move out of my way, the music's coming on, we're singing, we're dancing, you're gonna get your energy level up," because the energy that you bring to the table wins a deal or kills a
For
deal.
sure. Yeah, I
So
love that. And do you have a certain genre or it just depends on your mood?
it just depends on the mood. I can't do anything, like, too slow, low
Yeah,
key.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
I love Teddy Swims, so it could be that. It could be, like, early '80s music. It
Yeah.
just depends on my mood of the
Okay.
morning.
Would you say there's a big difference between selling, like, $1,000,000 home, $10,000,000 home, and, like, a $300,000 home?
I switched from selling the lower price point to the higher price point because it's the same amount of work for a lot less pay.
Oh, interesting.
So, if I'm gonna put that kinda effort in, which is almost the same amount of effort, it's just a different budget, if that makes sense.
So why not do them?
So why not do it?
Is commercial real estate and just residential real estate very different?
Commercial, which I do a lot, as well, behind the scenes, I do a lot of real estate development work. I've sold commercial buildings, leased commercial buildings, but it's just a different dynamic, and I kinda feel like for me anyway, like, to stay in my own lane. So I'm like a residential luxury driven. Now if my client is and I have a lot of them that say to me, "Kim, find me a space, find me a building," then that's when I do it.
When you're dealing with the high-end listings, would you say they're more pressure than the lower listings, or not necessarily, they're the same?
No, they're not. It's the same, and that's the different mindset too. I don't care if it's a $300,000 home or a $3 million home, the job is the same. When the client's my client, the pressure's on to get the home sold, get them to their next. I mean, there could be a lot of things going on. They're having a baby, they want a bigger home, they're getting a divorce. It's an emotional on their part, so I have to be like the middle person. So it doesn't matter to me if it's 300 or 3 million, the same pressure is always on.
So would you say for somebody who really wants to get into real estate, they're young, they haven't done it before, or they're switching careers and wanna do it, how long would you say I'm very impatient, so is it something I'd wanna know. What is, like, a solid amount of time you should tell yourself that you're not gonna just be racking in all these commissions?
It's gonna take to really build it 3 to 5 years. 3
Okay.
years if you grab a mentor, like you go to a mega agent, say, "I wanna be on your team, I wanna work with you." Put in the time. 5 years if you really know how to run a business, have great sales skills, great communication. It's always not about being book smart necessarily. It's like, can you communicate well with
With
people?
emotional intelligence?
Yes.
Yeah. I can see that
If
for
they
sure.
like you, they will buy from you.
Have you ever encountered a haunted house
Oh, yes.
when you're selling?
Yes.
So you believe in ghosts,
I
actually?
do. I do. I know that it's such a controversial subject, but I 100% believe in ghosts.
And did you before this house or homes or
I don't know if I really believed in it. I've always watched the shows and like, oh, that's not real.
right.
But yes, after my experience in a house, absolutely.
So there's just one of
100%.
them that really did it.
One of them that really did it. And it wasn't just me, it was the buyer that was with me too. And we weren't talking about it in the house. So we were walking through this home, and I think the home was built in like the early 1900s. I'd have to go back to actually pull the date, but a lot had transpired in this house.
Like, bad a lot?
Bad, like, and just I don't know if it was bad, but just some things. So you could feel like the heaviness of the air and the energy. I mean, I was really spooked out and I was trying not to be. So
Oh,
I'm
you're
like,
trying to say you're like, "This is
I
lovely."
know. I'm like, I got to get out of this house. And she looks at me. She's like, I got to get out of this house too. And so we get out of the house, she's like, "I think that house is haunted." I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm glad you said it first and not me." And then we walk to my car, and you cannot lock these cars because when you have the remote, if the keys, there, you have to touch the car. They don't just lock your keys in the cars and
Right.
things like that. The car was locked. It was the craziest scene. I can't even really get into all of it, but we were like, "We're not buying this house." And it's prime property, things like that, and we're like, "We're out of here."
Do you know if it's sold?
It did sell.
So there are really haunted
There
houses.
really are.
We're coming to a close, but if there's one piece of advice, and you kinda mentioned it before, that you would give someone who's in real estate or wants to get into real estate, um, what would you tell them? And then is there one thing you'd wanna end with?
Well, if I were to relive my life and start over again, because it's 30 years in the business, I would definitely have a mentor earlier than when I did because I waited probably 10 years before I actually hired the right people. Um, get with someone that actually cares about you and that you're not chasing the dollar, that you're actually learning the industry.
So,
Um,
real estate mentor. Yeah,
yes,
okay.
a real estate mentor. And then from there, you just you can't what does I say? I mean, what you permit, you promote, so to speak.
Got it.
So, you have to be disciplined, you have to have a drive, you have to have grit. How are you going to do that? And I mean, you have to be with the right people. So, the biggest successful people in real estate right now aren't these huge, huge teams. They're very small, they're individual agents, and they have a great back end training behind them. So, they really need to get with a power agent, and if they'll give them the opportunity, that's how they're gonna succeed. Because starting out on your own is really hard in this business. Barrier to entry is huge.
So you'd suggest, like, teaming up with someone, and then you can go
Absolutely.
off on your own?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay, smart.
Because a true what they call rainmaker in this business won't stay with, like, a me forever because they're gonna grow,
They want
and my job is for them to grow.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's the sign of a good
yeah.
mentor,
I
actually.
want someone to outsell me,
Yeah.
do whatever. I tell my daughter all the time, like, I want people to outsell me because you're going to know how hard I work and what I did to get there.
That's
So
true.
that's why we're not jealous or envious of other people because the top agents know what it takes to get there and it's not so easy.
Wow. And is there anything else you'd like to mention about real estate or yourself or anything? And where can we find you on social? Are you only on Instagram?
Now I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm
Okay.
on
And
YouTube.
it's all the same?
Pretty much all the same.
Okay.
My children told me I needed to get on TikTok. I'm finally starting to get on
Oh, you'd be good at
TikTok.
TikTok, yeah.
But
Okay, and tell us one more time. Kim Spears.
Kim Spears Group.
Kim Spears Group.
And
Okay.
that's because I have a whole team. It's not just me. Like everyone thinks it's just me, but literally I run well because my back end team is so on point.
Yeah, I
And
love
that's why I
that.
say it's like my thing has to be on point. Like if you're not on point, personal, business, whatever, marketing, forget about it.
I love that. You got to be on point. Well, you
Gotta
were
be on
very on point in this podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, this was awesome. And so we will be back soon. This has been Coastal Pearl Podcast. We're out.